Have you noticed your eyes changing lately? Maybe they feel a little scratchy when you wake up. Maybe the morning paper isn't as crisp as it used to be. Or there's a soft shadow under your eyes that wasn't there before. For some, there's even a quiet worry that something more serious, like cataracts or glaucoma, might be creeping in. You're not alone. These changes are common after 50. But here's something most people don't realize. They're not always permanent, and they don't have to become your new normal. There's a simple, natural remedy that's been quietly helping people just like you, right at home. It's called castor oil. And before you brush it off as just another old remedy, maybe something your grandmother used, I'd like to ask you to pause for a moment. Castor oil isn't just another home cure. It's different. This oil has a rare ability to sink deeper than most creams or drops, reaching into the layers where your body quietly begins to heal. It doesn't force change. It encourages it, gently, easing inflammation, calming discomfort, and helping your eyes feel more like themselves again. In this video, I'll walk you through how this simple oil can help relieve dryness, reduce pressure, and even slow the early signs of vision changes, like cataracts. And that's just the beginning. Because once you discover what castor oil can do for your eyes, you'll understand why so many people use it to support digestion, ease joint aches, and bring balance to their hormones, especially during the years when your body asks for a little more care. By the end, you won't just learn how to use castor oil. You'll understand why it's become a trusted part of the nightly routine. For people over 50 who are choosing healing that's gentle, natural, and real. Let's start by talking about your eyes and what really happens to them as we age. Most people assume that vision loss is just part of getting older. And yes, to some extent, that's true. Our eyes do change over time. But here's something most folks don't realize. How we live, the choices we make every day, has a big impact on how our eyes age. There are actually two types of muscles in your eyes. One helps you see things up close, like when you're reading a book or looking at your phone. The other helps you focus on things far away, like a mountain in the distance, birds flying, or an open field. And here's the problem. In today's world, we're using our short-range vision constantly. Smartphones, tablets, laptops, TVs, everything pulls our focus in close all day long. But our eyes weren't built for this kind of non-stop close-up strain. When you overwork the short-range muscles and ignore the long-range ones, it creates an imbalance. That imbalance leads to eye strain, fatigue, and over time, even damage. It's one of the reasons we're seeing more cases of early cataracts, dry eyes, and blurry vision, not just in seniors, but in people as young as 30 or 40. And here's something else most people never hear. When your brain is tired, like at the end of a long day, your eye strain becomes even more harmful. That's because your brain and your eyes work together. If your brain is exhausted, your eyes lose the ability to bounce back. That's why doing detail work at night, like reading small print or stitching, can actually wear your vision down faster. But here's the good news. When you do that same activity in the morning, when your brain is rested, it can actually strengthen your eyes. Yes, the very thing that tires them out at night can help rebuild them when done early in the day. So if you're reading, knitting, solving a crossword, or sorting through paperwork, try doing it before lunch. Your eyes will thank you. And one more small habit. If you're using a screen, try this once every hour. Pause and look out the window. Find something far away, a tree, a cloud, a hill, and just let your eyes rest there for a moment or two. That tiny break gives your long-range vision the stretch it needs. It's like a breath of fresh air for your eyes. Now, you might be thinking, that's helpful, but what about the dryness? What about the cataracts that are already starting? That is where castor oil comes in. And in the next section, I'll explain exactly why this oil is so effective and how you can use it to nourish and soothe your eyes in a way that's natural, gentle, and backed by years of real-life experience. Castor oil, nature's quiet healer. Let's take a moment to talk about it. For many people, just hearing the words castor oil brings back old memories, maybe something from childhood, or maybe just quiet curiosity. You might be wondering, how could something that sounds so old-fashioned help with something as delicate as the eyes? Well, the answer lies in something most people don't know. Castor oil has a very special structure. It's rich in something called ricinoleic acid. That gives it a unique ability. It can sink deep into your body's tissues, deeper than almost any other oil. Unlike creams or eye drops that just sit on the surface, castor oil travels beneath the skin right to the places where irritation and inflammation begin. That's why it's been used for centuries. Not just as a moisturizer, but as a gentle healer. For joints, for digestion, for the skin, and yes, even for vision. So let's get specific. For your eyes, castor oil works in a few powerful but gentle ways. First, it hydrates the thin, sensitive skin around your eyes. That area, the eyelid and under eye, is one of the first to show signs of dryness as we age. A single drop on your eyelid, once or twice a day, can help soften the skin, reduce fine lines, and ease the dryness that builds up overnight. Second, it helps reduce inflammation. Many eye issues that come with age, dryness, redness, puffiness, even early cataracts, are made worse by low-grade inflammation. Castor oil calms that irritation and gives your body a chance to start healing. Third, and maybe most fascinating, is its effect on things like cataracts. Cataracts are cloudy spots that slowly develop in the lens of your eye. Over time, they can blur your vision or even cause vision loss. Now, castor oil isn't a miracle cure, but many people have shared stories of applying just a little each night and seeing early-stage cataracts slow down, or in some cases, even improve. Here's how to use it. You don't put it directly into your eye. Instead, you gently smooth a drop across your eyelid. It absorbs naturally, through the skin, through the lashes. Some people do use a drop in the eye itself, but even the eyelid method alone has shown benefits. One woman told me her doctor had scheduled her for early cataract surgery, but she wasn't ready. So she began applying castor oil on her eyelids every night. 6 months later, her doctor was surprised. The cataracts hadn't progressed. That was 2 years ago. Now let me be clear. This isn't about skipping your doctor or chasing miracle cures. This is about supporting your body with something that has stood the test of time. Castor oil doesn't push. It doesn't force. It creates the right environment so your body can begin healing at its own pace, slowly, gently, naturally. And that's what makes it powerful. It's not a quick fix. It's a daily act of care, not just for your eyes, but for your peace of mind. So, how do you begin? Start simple. At night, right before bed, wash your hands. Take 1 drop of castor oil, just 1. Rub it gently between your fingers, then smooth it over your closed eyelids. That's it. No stinging, no mess, no extra effort. And over time, if you stick with it, you may begin to notice your eyes feel different in the morning. Less dry, more relaxed. And while you're helping your vision, you're also nourishing the skin around your eyes. Castor oil is rich in fatty acids. That means it can support collagen, improve elasticity, and help reduce puffiness or wrinkles, naturally. In the next section, we're going to look beyond the eyes. Because once people see what castor oil can do here, they begin to wonder, what else might it help with? And the answer is, quite a lot. So stay with me. The best is yet to come. It's beyond the eyes. It's about healing the whole body, especially after 50. By now, you know how castor oil can gently support your eye health. But here's something many people don't realize. That same oil you just placed on your eyelid, it can help heal other parts of your body too. And after 50, when small aches can quietly turn into chronic discomfort, this oil can become one of the most powerful tools in your wellness routine. Let's start with something that affects millions of older adults every single day: digestion. As we get older, our digestive system naturally slows down. You might notice occasional constipation, bloating, or that heavy, sluggish feeling after a meal. Many people turn to fiber supplements or over-the-counter laxatives, but the truth is, those are usually just quick fixes. They don't solve the deeper issue, which is often inflammation and slow-moving bowels. This is where castor oil can make a real difference. Not as a pill, but as a warm, soothing compress. It's simple to make. You take a soft cotton cloth, add a little plastic to protect your clothes, and drizzle on a teaspoon or 2 of castor oil. Fold the cloth, place it gently on your lower abdomen, just below your belly button. Cover it with plastic wrap and a towel. Then rest. 1 to 2 hours is all it takes. You can do it while reading a book or watching TV. Some folks add a hot water bottle on top to help the oil absorb faster. But even your own body heat is enough. So what does this actually do? Castor oil sinks deep into the tissues. It helps break up internal congestion, reduces inflammation, and gently signals your colon that it's time to move again. No harsh chemicals, no side effects, just a nudge, soft and steady. I once met a woman who had battled irritable bowel syndrome for over 10 years. She'd tried everything: special diets, medications, probiotics. Nothing brought lasting relief. Then she began using a castor oil compress 5 nights a week. Within a month, her bowel movements became regular, and after 3 months, the pain in her abdomen was gone. She told me, "For the first time, it felt like my body was finally working with me, not against me." That's the beauty of natural healing. It works in rhythm with your body, not against it. Hormone balance and women's health. Now let's shift to another area that's often overlooked, especially for women. As we age, hormone levels start to shift. That can bring all kinds of challenges: fatigue, mood swings, sleep problems, weight gain, and sometimes fibroids or cysts. Castor oil compresses, when placed over the lower abdomen, can help your body ease through those changes. They support the lymphatic system, promote detoxification, and reduce that hormonal congestion in the reproductive organs. One of the most powerful stories I've heard came from a young woman in her early 30s. She had been living a healthy lifestyle, eating clean, staying active, drinking plenty of water, but she still found herself in pain. A scan revealed a large fibroid over 3 inches wide. She was terrified of surgery. So she turned to 2 things: gentle hormone support through herbs and food, and nightly castor oil compresses right over her belly. After 4 months, she returned for another scan. The fibroid had shrunk down to just 1 inch. Her pain was gone, and she avoided the operating room entirely. Now, not every story will have such dramatic results, but it's a clear example of what's possible when we give the body time and something real to work with. Joint pain and inflammation. Now let's talk about something almost everyone over 50 deals with: joint pain. Maybe it's a sore knee, a stiff shoulder, or arthritis in your hands. Whatever the case, inflammation is usually the cause, and that's where castor oil can be a quiet but powerful friend. Its deep penetrating nature makes it perfect for joint care. You can apply it directly to the skin or use it in a warm compress. Let me share something personal. A few years ago, I fractured my wrist in a fall. The bone healed, but the pain and stiffness never really went away. I started applying a castor oil compress to my wrist every night before bed. Within weeks, the soreness began to fade. After 2 months, I had full movement again. No more tightness, no more pain. And I still use that compress almost every night. Not because I need it now, but because it's become part of my rhythm. A small act of care that keeps my joints feeling strong and young. Another woman I spoke with had arthritis in her fingers for over a decade. She began massaging a few drops of castor oil into her knuckles every night. After 3 weeks, her fingers were less stiff. By 6 weeks, she could open jars again, something she hadn't done in years. These aren't miracles. They're what happens when you give your body time and the tools it needs to repair itself, to regenerate, to return to balance. Breast health and scar tissue. Castor oil has also shown powerful potential when it comes to supporting breast health, especially for women who've experienced surgery or cysts. When applied gently to the breast area, this oil can help soften fibrous tissue, ease discomfort, and reduce tightness caused by scar buildup. One woman I met had gone through breast cancer surgery. She recovered, but was left with hard, painful scar tissue around the incision site. She began using a warm castor oil compress every evening before bed. After 2 months, the tissue had softened. The tightness, the one that used to wake her in the middle of the night, was gone. She told me, "It was like my body finally let go of the trauma." That kind of emotional release, it's not rare. Castor oil doesn't just work on the physical level. It often helps people reconnect with their bodies, especially after pain or illness. It creates space for comfort, for healing, and for peace. So how often should you use it? Consistency matters more than intensity. For most people, 3 to 5 times a week is enough to notice change. Some choose to use it nightly, especially for deeper issues. Others use it once or twice a month, just for maintenance and gentle care. There's no wrong way to begin. Only your way. Listen to your body. If you feel ease, comfort, or simply sleep better, that's a sign you're on the right path. And remember, more isn't always better. A small amount of castor oil truly goes a long way. It's also affordable and simple to use because the compress can be reused for weeks at a time. But beyond practicality, I want you to think of this not as a treatment, but as a relationship between you and your own healing. When you take the time to care for your body, especially with something as gentle and nurturing as castor oil, you're telling your body, I'm listening, I want to help. That mindset, more than any product or method, is the real foundation of lasting wellness. How to make and use a castor oil compress. Now that you know what castor oil can do, let me walk you through how to make a compress at home. It's simple, it's affordable, and you probably already have most of the materials. Here's what you'll need. Cold-pressed, hexane-free castor oil. Organic is great, but not required. A cotton or flannel cloth. This could be an old t-shirt, washcloth, or soft piece of sheeting. Avoid anything synthetic. A piece of plastic wrap or a clean plastic bag. This keeps the oil from leaking onto your clothes or sheets. A towel or elastic bandage to hold everything in place. Optional. A heating pad or hot water bottle, just for extra warmth. Step-by-step instructions. Step 1. Fold your cloth into 4 to 8 layers. The thicker it is, the more oil it holds, and the longer it stays effective. Step 2. Drizzle 1 to 2 teaspoons of castor oil onto the cloth. You don't need to soak it. Castor oil spreads slowly, and too much can get messy. Step 3. Place the cloth directly over the area you want to treat, your belly, your wrist, your lower back, even over the liver or uterus. Step 4. Cover with plastic. This step matters. Castor oil can stain fabric, and it's hard to wash out. Step 5. Use a towel or elastic wrap to hold the compress in place. If it's on your abdomen, just tuck the towel around your waist. Step 6. Rest and relax. Leave the compress on for at least an hour. Some people use it for 2 or 3 hours. Others choose to sleep with it overnight, especially when treating joints or hormones. If you're new to this, start with an hour and see how your body responds. Optional. Add gentle heat. A warm water bottle or heating pad placed over the compress can improve circulation and absorption. But make sure it's warm, not hot. It should feel comforting, not irritating. How often should you use it? For most healing goals, 3 to 5 times a week is a good starting point. If you're working with something more chronic like arthritis, fibroids, or long-term constipation, daily use may bring quicker relief. Just remember, healing with castor oil takes time. It's not instant, but if you stay consistent, many people begin to feel better within just a few weeks. How to store and reuse your compress. One of the best things about this method is that the same cloth can be reused many times. After each use, simply fold it up and store it in a sealed container or Ziploc bag. Keep it in a cool, dry place. No need to refrigerate. Every week, add a little fresh oil to keep it effective. Most people get 3 to 4 weeks out of a single compress. If it starts to smell odd, discolor, or dry out, that's when you know it's time to make a new one. Safety tips and choosing your oil. Do not take castor oil by mouth unless advised by a trusted healthcare professional. It can act as a strong laxative and may upset your stomach. If you're pregnant, don't use castor oil compresses unless your doctor approves. It can stimulate the uterus. Avoid placing the compress over broken skin or open wounds. And always, always listen to your body. If something feels off, stop and adjust. Castor oil should never sting or feel harsh. When choosing an oil, look for cold-pressed, hexane-free options. Some people prefer Jamaican black castor oil for its richness, but the lighter, clear version works beautifully as well. You don't need to buy an expensive brand. Even a basic store-bought oil can bring deep healing when used with care and consistency. The beauty of the castor oil compress is in its simplicity. No pills, no prescriptions, no waiting rooms. Just you, your hands, and a moment of quiet connection. For many people over 50, this nightly ritual becomes more than a routine. It becomes a space, a few minutes of stillness where healing is allowed to unfold in its own time. You've come a long way with me today. We've talked about tired eyes, aching joints, stubborn digestion, and those quiet little discomforts that sneak in as the years go by. But more importantly, we've talked about something bigger. We've talked about hope. Castor oil isn't a miracle. It's not a magic fix. What it is a reminder. A reminder that healing doesn't have to be dramatic. It doesn't have to come from a bottle with a long warning label, or from a rushed doctor's visit you barely remember. Sometimes healing shows up in small, quiet ways. In a single drop of oil, a warm cloth, and the steady rhythm of caring for yourself day after day. I've met people in their 60s, 70s, even their 80s, who thought their discomfort was just something they had to live with. But once they gave their body just a little help, just a drop of oil, and a few moments of care, they began to feel something they hadn't felt in a long time: relief, ease, peace, and maybe most importantly, trust in their own body again. Now, you might not see a dramatic change overnight, but give it time, because just like nature, your body heals in seasons. Castor oil won't rush that process, but it will support it, gently, consistently, quietly. If there's one message I hope you carry with you, it's this: you are not broken. You're not too old to heal. Your body is still listening, and when you speak to it with kindness, it responds. So whether you begin tonight with a single drop on your eyelid or tomorrow with a warm compress on your wrist, I hope it becomes more than a routine. I hope it becomes a moment where you slow down, breathe deeply, and remind yourself, I'm worth this, because you are. If this video helped you, touched you, or simply made you think differently about your health, I'd love to hear from you. Let me know in the comments. Where will you apply your first drop of castor oil? Was it your eyes, your belly, your knee? Thank you for spending this time with me. Take care of yourself. And remember, healing is still possible, one gentle step at a time.